Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry Bodenheimer, and today we're taking a look at Rhadamanthys. Now, Rhadamanthys is a 32-bit Trojan which affects Windows operating systems, specifically Windows 8 and up, and it's infamous for being able to detect sandboxing programs, virtual machine files, being able to detect these and decide, yeah, I don't want to run because somebody's trying to analyze this file. Well, I've managed to modify my virtual machine just enough that it's not able to pick up that it's in a container, so we're good to go on this one. And I've actually been wanting to analyze Rhadamanthys for quite a long time, and I would definitely say the wait has paid off because this does, just to give you an idea of what kind of video this is going to be, some very crazy shit. Now, you may be wondering why we're on the details page instead of the detections page like usual. We'll get into that. First, we're going to take a look at this at the Threat Insights portal, and we're not going to take a look at it on VirusTotal for any reason. I'll get to why that is in just a second as well. So the malware name is just a random string.exe. Last analyzed 9 minutes ago by yours truly. Size is 62.73 megabytes, uploaded by me with a reputation of 0 because I forgot to rate it. Now, why are we not taking a look at detections to start off with? Here's your answer. God. So, Reversing Labs says it's goodware. Now, Cyber Fortress says it has a malicious confidence of 70%, which is pretty low confidence for the malware that I've analyzed on it. And it's got tags of Sage, Blick, and Remo. No detections on VirusTotal. You know what? We are going to open VirusTotal. I lied. We're going to take a look at this after we finish looking here. Clean detection on any run, no threats detected. No threats on Kaspersky OpenTip. No threats on UnpackMe, but Hatching Triage does also give it a 10 out of 10. Now here's why I changed my mind on VirusTotal. Because there is no detections, however there's a community score of minus 71. Now this was minus 69. So I have to wonder if Nike was here after I uploaded this. And yes, he was. So we can see that he's actually giving it the score of 95 that was on the Threat Insights portal. This is automated, by the way, if you're wondering. And if we maximize this, it doesn't really say anything that immediately jumps out. If we come down here to PEDIC, they don't give it a name. They just give it NSIS. Joe Security was here as well and gives it a malicious ranking of 80 out of 100. And Jaffa Cakes was here as well. They gave it, or they have the file mansion set up 1.exe, a threat score of 10. However, they have no family name assigned to it. So VirusTotal has no detections at all. And it's been out for, if we go to details, this was first uploaded over 2 weeks ago. Almost 3 weeks ago. That's nuts. That's actually insane. And everybody here is giving it negative detections, or negative ratings. However, nobody really knows what it is. The only thing that they've got going for them is Carlos Cabal coming in freaking clutch with the Rhadamanthys IOCs and Doubleback. Now, Doubleback is incorrect. That's fileless malware. But he did come in clutch. He pulled off the 1v1 with the Rhadamanthys brain classification. Updated just 56 minutes ago. So that's pretty nuts. Now we'll go ahead and minimize this, and we will take a look at the file mansion.exe. I actually renamed this. We'll go to Properties, and we'll go to Details. File description is Electron. File version is 1.0.0.0. Product name is Mansion. Product version is 1.0.0. Copyright is Copyright 2025 Mansion. Size is 62.7 megabytes. God. And in English, United States is the language. Here's another crazy thing. Digital signatures. Atlas Care Home. Atlas Care Homes Limited. Okay. Digest algorithm SHA-256. Timestamp January 26, 2025. Now, obviously, this is going to show up as an invalid signature or something, right? This is crazy. I have not... Right. So if we view this certificate, the certificate is intended for the following purposes. Ensure software came from software publisher. Protect software from alteration after publication. Refer to the certificate the certification authority statement for details. Atlas Care Homes Limited, issued by SSL.com, and is valid from December 18th of last year to December 18th of this year. I have no words. I'm speechless. I actually am. I can't think of anything to say about that. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the tools we'll be using to analyze the malware. We have System Informer, Wireshark, I'll go ahead and reset that now, Zooey, and Process Monitor, which I will also go ahead and reset now. Now that we've taken a look at everything, the last thing to do is open System Informer, and we're going to run mansion.exe. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Yes, I do. So we come down here and we can see it running in the background. It's not doing much at first, but if you give it a little time, it opens... What the heck is this? Okay. That didn't happen in testing. So what happened in testing? Okay. And then it immediately closes. So what happened is it dropped another file and said that it failed to load. But now it seems to be working just fine. I did see msbuild.exe open, meaning that this was probably built in assembly. We've also got extract JPEG cmd.exe running in the background. If we open that, we've got a ddr5_netcache, which is the same folder that we had during testing. However, these files are different. So we've got qtzent and extract jpeg command.exe. I'm going to go ahead and shove both of these into VirusTotal really quick. However, you should be able to tell at this point, it's obviously malicious because this is pretending to be some healthcare program. And we got what looked like maybe some kind of video game cheat, which closed on its own. And now we've got this stuff. So, I mean, come on, use your brain, people. I'm mostly talking to the AV companies when I say that. But if we go to VirusTotal, and we try to shove these in here really quick, let's shove extract jpeg command.exe in there, which has not been uploaded. Okay. And in that case, I'm going to open a duplicate tab, and we're also going to upload qtzent, which has also not been uploaded. All right, then. So it is going to analyze these files, and as you can see, these are showing up with some detections, but also very few. So I'm going to let these analyze in the background, and we're going to take a look, I guess, at Wireshark. And yeah, we do have some interesting things going on immediately. One thing that we usually don't ever see is port unreachable. So if we maximize this, we got port unreachable, and if we scroll up, we've got some TCP Windows full, 64.233.176.121. We'll keep that IP address in mind because it's showing up very often. As a matter of fact, that's all this is. What if we scroll up to the top? We've got a 95.216.224.46. Could be something we want to check out. What else have we got here? Trying to get to that black. Come here. Okay. It's the same IP address. We got 0 windows, 0 window probes, 0 window acknowledgements. Same thing. We'll minimize this, and just to show the other program, the host program has closed, and the other file that was in here, the qtzent.exe, is not running. Extract jpeg command.exe is. If I look at the properties for this, extract JPEG command line utility, digital signatures, Begonia Holdings, LLC. Digital signature is not valid. And if we take a look at qtzent, Penshihua Bada Technology, looks like some kind of Chinese certificate, which is also invalid. Who would have guessed? But if I look at the properties, like the details, qtzent barcode generator, Zent barcode studio. How interesting. Now, qtzent shows up with only 2 detections, Elastic and VerIT. Give yourselves a pat on the back for that one. If we go to community, obviously no community posts. I don't even know why I looked. And extract jpeg command.exe does have 8 detections. However, no popular threat label and no name at all. These are just AI detections. every single one of them. Kaspersky found it, and Bitdefender did not. And obviously Microsoft didn't either. Well, I say obviously, but they came in clutch last video. But they have no detection either. So Avast, AVG, BCAF Pro, CrowdStrike Falcon, Elastic, Kaspersky, Symantec. Wow! Dude, Symantec's come in clutch the past few videos for malware that had virtually no detections. That's insane. I just want to check the events, make sure we don't run out of memory. That is nuts. And variety. So, wow, Symantec is the MVP for the day. But we'll minimize this, and we will take a look at process monitor. So we're now going to do two filters here. We're going to do process name is, I believe it was mansion.exe. Let me see if I could find it. Mansion, yes. Mansion.exe. And then operation is create file. Apply, yes. I was going to do apply and OK, but I forgot to add it. And we have 2,889 events. So I'm going to expand this to about here. That way, if anything malicious shows up on System Informer, we'll be able to see it. I also should have looked if anything was running up here, but I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Okay, so we'll let that slide. We'll expand the pathway over to here, and we'll look for anything suspicious, which with almost 3,000 events, we should, right? We've got some temp files, a bunch of DLLs that are being called. That's not interesting. But if we keep going down, some system.dlls, we've got a temp file here, which does seem to have been deleted. Or maybe a directory. It is a directory, but there's nothing in here. So whatever was in there has all been deleted. app64.7zip. Okay, that's interesting. It is using 7zip to unpackage something. All right, 7z out. NSIS 7z.dll. 7z out. Now, NSIS is a popular threat label for malware, so that's something we may want to keep in mind. And it is tearing through 7zip. All right, that's very interesting. We keep taking a look through here. Chrome 100%.pak. I'm not even sure what that could possibly be. We got another DLL. Matter of fact, a bunch of DLLs. Vulcan1.dll. NTSHRUI.dll. I've never seen either of those before, so they've got to be custom with the malware. AF.pack. Alright, BN.pack. These are probably all like language packages. Very interesting. We also have, I don't think that's the same directory. So if I jump to it, it does seem that that's all been deleted. That's unfortunate. But not surprising. We've got an app.asar. Elevate.exe. Okay. If I jump to that really quick, obviously it's going to be gone. This does seem to do a really good job of covering its tracks. Now, it's making things visible to me, but I have no way of actually being able to upload any of those malicious programs, except for these two. And even these have very low detections, which is nuts. If we keep going, kbdust.dll, that's obviously custom. Resources, yes, doing that app.asar again. My Electron app. Okay, if I remember correctly, and I may not be remembering correctly, so take this with a grain of salt, I think Electron is a crypto wallet. Again, entire possibility I'm wrong, but that's what comes to mind when I see it. Now, as advanced as this is, if you're wondering whether this is an info stealer or a more complex rat, I'm putting $100 on that this is a remote access Trojan with persistence. There's no way they put all of this effort into something just for it to run once and be done. There's no way. And I also have a feeling that these other dropped files, I don't think these are copies of the original malware. I think these are actually copies of other malware samples that have been dropped. So this may also just be a downloader for other malware. We get some database logs, locks, currents, manifests. Okay, we keep going through this. We've got some code caches for JavaScript. All right. Trust tokens, network persistent state. Oh, God. All right. MS spell checking facility.dll, spell dictionaries in the globalization folder for Windows. We've got some Don cache. That's fine. Microsoft Spelling. All right. Service worker under my Electron app. Okay, I'm going to skim through a little more and just see if we see anything original. Because we still have to take a look at extract JPEG and the other one, the QTZent. And we're already 15 minutes into the video. Which, if this goes over 30 minutes, I'm not going to mind because this is very interesting to me. I hope it's interesting to you guys as well. We've got Chrome 200%. Wow, crazy. Something more than 100%. If we keep going, it's accessing the temp directory. We have some temp files here, although we're not going to be able to tell much from them. Times bd times bi.tff, so it's in the fonts folder. Okay, I thought it was at first. I didn't even read fonts, but I saw times and I immediately thought Times New Roman. My Electron app conversions, aggregation service, Swift shader.dll, transport security again, array user boot.zip, and that's not here anymore, so that's obviously been deleted. And now we've got the extract JPEG command.exe and the qtzent.exe. How odd. Okay. Now we keep going through this. We're almost done. So the way I saw it there, I'm actually more willing to believe that maybe it is just dependencies for the same malware. Although there's really no way to know until we take a look at it for ourselves. So we are done with the main program. We have 11 million events. So although I really don't want to, since it's obviously still doing things, I'm probably going to have to put a pause on the capture for process monitor so we don't run out of memory. I'm wondering if this is a crypto miner. Probably not, but you know, because the vast majority of crypto miners can tell if you've got some kind of process running for analysis. Matter of fact, if I open Task Manager, okay, I didn't mean to unlock that. If I open Task Manager, yeah, it doesn't even close. Matter of fact, it's sitting on Task Manager. Extract JPEG application to extract JPEG images from a database or file. Try saying that 10 times in a row. All right, so now we're going to do extract JPEG command. So we'll come up to here. Yes, add it now. And then once it's done adding that, I am going to go ahead and put a pause on process monitor. We took a look at Wireshark. We've got quite a few packets to go through. So once we're done analyzing everything, I'll pause this, and obviously I'm going to shove it into Zooey. All right, so we'll click OK. Only 156 events, so not much to look through. Which is surprising because it's been running full time. We'll close this as well. All right, what do we have here? Just a bunch of DLLs. We're not able to really see much. FWPU client, okay. Yeah, we're really not able to see much of what it's doing. It's all trapped behind DLLs. Tricky, tricky. And then the last one we're going to take a look at was the QTZent. That's what I was thinking of. So it's going to be QT. And add, and okay. And I forgot to pause the packet capture. We're cutting it close with the memory. We're already at 85%. Of 81 now, but it'll go back up. So we will go ahead and pause this before we run out of memory, hopefully. Okay. And we have even more events on this than extract JPEG. Don't ask me how. But we keep going through here. Let's take a look. I'm not really seeing anything that indicates that these are dependencies of the original file. Matter of fact, I don't really know what they are. Oh, here we go. So with QTZent, it is actually going to try to disable Windows Defender. Joke's on you. I've already disabled it. But if we keep going, I don't see much else. Oh, we've got a resources.exe here. Gorkuak.resources. Unfortunately, the entire path was deleted. So we're not going to be able to see what that was doing, but we will be able to see if it was run. And we've got a usebudov.resources.exe. I kind of doubt they did anything. However, at the very end, we see some very interesting and sus things. Win32 task scheduler. We've got a bunch of DLLs that are being called in different Folders, GAC32, GAC MSAL, so probably written in assembly, as I've said before. I'm only going to pull one of these. I'm not going to pull both of them. So one of them was, let's see, .exe, the grcooaq. And we'll know if they ran it all, because if they did do literally anything, it'll autofill in the names. So no, stop. G. Yeah, it's not even here. Yeah. So those resource files were never opened, or even if they were, they didn't do anything on their own, so there's no point even looking at that. Okay. That's still running. That's scary, but we'll take a look at that later. Let's go ahead and go into Wireshark. These are all Microsoft IP addresses. Again, doesn't mean anything. That's not making a case for or against it. Just a note. We'll go ahead and stop this, and I'm going to save this as 1.pcapng. We'll start a new one just to be thorough, especially when malware is still running on the device. And then we're going to come into Zooey. So quick access, or not quick access, sorry, documents, 1.pcapng. And we'll go ahead and close this just to free up some memory on the computer. We're done with it anyway. Interestingly enough, I can't believe that it didn't drop the other file. What happened in testing was it dropped another mansion file, and it said, please try to run the file again in 3 to 10 minutes. There was some kind of error. And it did have other processes running on the back end, but it is even more graphical than this. So it's unfortunate that we didn't get that payload, but, I mean, this is still very interesting. Because now we even got 2 files to scan, which have no popular threat label. In this case, it doesn't even know what it is. The Elastic just says malicious, and Vir.IT says Trojan, but it's generic, so who really knows, right? They do at least say invalid signature for both of them. Alright, are we done with Zooey? Let's go ahead and query the pool and see if we have anything sus. Not many rows, so I could take my time here. Again, I won't look at every alert 3, because the vast majority of these are just errors with Suricata and other IDS things. But we do have HTTP stuff, which I'm interested in. That's Microsoft's crypto API, so that's probably just a certificate authority thing. Microsoft Crypto API. Another certificate authority with Sectigo. Okay, I won't look at all of these either. That's just wasting time. And even more sus. Oh, whoa! So it's done a lot to hide its presence on the device. But we may have finally come in contact with something that, finally giving up the ghost. We click on Alert 1. Luma Stealer related CNC domain and DNS lookup. Breedertrimmed.com. Luma, huh? Okay. Luma, another Luma related CNC. Garaluskuto.com. This one is same thing. Actiotharaz.com. Rebel Deadern. I don't know why my brain just shut itself like that. Torpdidebar. Okay. So Luma related is not what I was expecting to see. I was honestly not expecting to see anything with Alert 2 or 1, but you know. It's Luma related. VoiceSharp.com. VoiceSharp.com again. Import in Pitok. Okay. And the same one again. Anything else? No, that seems to be about it. Okay. And this only has 120 packets that have been captured, shivers that have been timbered, so we probably are done communicating back and forth, or at least until the computer restarts. And if we take a look in System Informer one more time, that file is still running. I wonder if it just naturally takes up a lot of resources, and it's just waiting for other commands, but it's not receiving any. Either way, this is very crazy. I mean, this entire video has been nuts. So, I think that's all we can really do, except for restart the computer. I will do one more thing. I'm going to take a look at relations. And yeah, we do have some suspicious information on HTTP, no less. They all have two detections. It's the same domain. 39 contacted IP addresses. That one, that's in Finland. That might be interesting. Oh, they're both in Finland. Oh, interesting. Tell you what, I'm going to copy this IP really quick, and I'm going to shove it in abusepdb and whois. I'm going to cover all of our tracks this time, because I'm very excited, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do so. And it's been reported only one time. Hetzner Online, in Finland, out of Helsinki, which is the capital, has been observed attacking port 123. Observed threat in TP amplification. What is port 123? Port 123. Yeah, NTP protocol. Okay. Is a port like 80 and 443. It's an application protocol. Okay. Sure. I will shove this through whois really quick, although I'm not expecting to get any more information than we already got. For spam abuse, yeah. Again, I feel like I always have to say this. Don't go harass any emails or phone numbers that we get in these videos. This is purely for educational purposes. And I'll go ahead and tell you now, the owner of Hetzner Online is not the malware writer. So leave them alone. But that's really it. I've done crazier, and crazier results have happened. Let's try connecting directly to that IP address. 216.224.46. Now, I'm fully expecting for it to say, you know, connection refused or connection timed out. But every time I've expected something to happen this video and in testing, the opposite has happened. So, yeah, okay, well, we didn't get a connection refused. We got a 403 for an Nginx server. Or this is actually Apache. You do not have permission to access this resource. Interesting. And if I try to copy... Tell you what. I know I'm going to get the same result, but just to be thorough for the video. 890. Yep. Forbidden. 8PE93. I'm also having a lot of fun, if you can't tell. PHP. Oh! Okay. All right. FBI Wait a minute. FBI operation. This message serves as a formal warning regarding your actions and their potential legal consequences. By accessing this page and engaging with systems associated with a program of the United States, specifically in relation to its operations and the get-exit functionality, you are hereby notified of potential violations of federal law. Important warning. Your actions have been identified as disruptive to the lawful functioning of critical United States programs. Such activities constitute a direct breach of federal regulations that ensure the integrity, security, and effectiveness of government operations. The following points outline the gravity of the situation. 1. Unauthorized access. Accessing this program or its operations without proper authorization violates U.S. federal laws, including those governing cybersecurity and the protection of government systems. 2. Operational disruption. Actions that impair or interfere with the proper functioning of this program, including attempts to manipulate the get-exit operation, are considered illegal and subject to prosecution. Prosecution. 3. Breach of security protocol. Unauthorized tampering with systems designed to ensure the secure and lawful operation of U.S. programs is a serious offense and poses a threat to national interest. Legal consequences. All individuals involved in these activities are hereby notified that their actions are being closely monitored. The U.S. government reserves the right to pursue full legal action against anyone found guilty of disrupting, tampering with, and you can't see, but I'm like pointing my fingers up and lifting them like I'm numbering things off, guilty of disrupting, tampering with, or lawfully accessing these systems. Such actions may result in criminal prosecution under federal law, substantial fines and penalties, imprisonment depending on the severity of the violations, being put in the back of the midnight execution van, or taken to Guantanamo Bay. This message serves as an official warning and notice of potential accountability. You are strongly advised to cease any unauthorized activities immediately and ensure compliance with all applicable laws. This is your final warning. Failure to adhere to this notice will result in further investigations, and the United States government will take appropriate measures to ensure justice is served. This warning is issued with the intent to inform and prevent further violations. Any continued unauthorized actions will be met with legal repercussions. Okay. That is... Huh. Well, I'm going to screenshot this really quick if you don't mind. Let me just grab that. So, like I said, the exact opposite happened. I don't think anybody could have really planned for a fake FBI operation message. But, yeah. That is, okay. Well, we'll go ahead and close that, because I don't want to piss off the totally legitimate FBI operation out of Finland. So we'll go ahead and close that. And the last thing to do really now is to restart the computer. We've done everything else. So let's go ahead and do that now. Let's close System Informer and show that the malware is actually still running. Close Wireshark. Close Zooey. Close these two folders. And restart the computer, just to check if this does have persistence, which, again, you know, I'm changing my bet to like $250,000. There's no way that this isn't persistent malware. This has been a ride. And that FBI operation message, if I didn't know any better, I would say that this was like a hoax or fake malware or something else ridiculous. But unfortunately, I do know better. So we'll give it a second to see if anything runs in the background, which I'm fully expecting it to. But again, everything that's happened has been the exact opposite of what I expect. So watch it not have any persistence whatsoever. Wouldn't that be crazy? He says that nothing suspicious has opened yet. I can't win for losing today. Okay, well, by the time I get done with my outro, it would have been more than enough time for the malware to restart, so I guess I'll do the outro now. That's going to be it for this video. It was over 30 minutes, but it was definitely very enjoyable for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Either way, my name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys have been amazing. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment what you thought was the most interesting part of this video, which there was quite a bit. Also, leave a comment if there's anything I did not do in this video that you want to see in future ones, or if there's anything I did that you feel is redundant. My name is Larry Bodenheimer. You guys are great. I'll see you in the next one. Apparently, this doesn't have persistence. My whole life has been a lie.